the picks and bans ready for you here. That way we can just see how this game goes. I know we said energy's dropping a little bit, but when you're the world champs, I mean, you got a ways to fall and still be good.
That's a good point. I mean, at the end of the day, true. The only way from the top is down, let's be honest. Right. You can't get any higher. I mean, 2 world championships under the belt, even if you're playing bad, you still are the world champions.
Oh, yeah. You gotta beat them. You gotta beat them at SWC.
For now, yeah. I mean, LAMs do come into account, and they've not had great LAM performances as well. Couple of troubles in terms of competitive play this year, and coming up against Pappies, who are fighting to get and stay in the SPL for next split, looking for at least a top 6 finish.
Well, Amuz and Cobb getting banned out. We see him in a couple games, and Pappies are not having it. RDO also banned out there by NRG. Is that one where they're really worried about AMC, or is it a throwaway? Or?
I mean, to be fair, with how AMC works most of the time, it causes so many problems for teams now because people haven't really worked out how to deal with it. The old days of AMC, how do you deal with AMC? Kill him on repeat.
Yeah,
focus him down, make sure you don't get away. But the way the meta has been dictated by players these days, it's left a lot to be desired in terms of how much early pressure and ganking you're seeing on the map, specific to one character individually.
Kukulkan picked up here for the Poppy, so that does leave Scotty and Kronos open for Energy, who famously have a skin specifically for Kronos. So that's going to go well for them with those 2 very strong late game guys.
It's funny because Pappies are kind of looking at this. With that Kukulkan pick, they could have picked Scotty or Kukulkan there. Yeah. They're the 2 that are definitely up for debate with how the bans look. Problem with that is that, are we more scared of Maniac playing Kukulkan, or are we more scared of seeing Emelito on Scotty? That's a tough call. And so whichever way they go, the other one may cause them problems. And we'll see how Emelito does perform on that Scotty. If it is him, it may be him on the Kronos. You never know.
That is a bit of a flex that Energy have. So that's one more thing Poppies have to consider, is that they're not going to be quite sure where those are going. So they pick Huyi, give themselves a safe character to have over there in that dual lane, and then Kukulkan.
Interesting by the Kukulkan.
For Energy.
Yeah, the Kukulkan's going to be an interesting one for sure. See, this is what your issue is. You see this wire?
What's happening?
You've got your wire wrapped around. This is like, what a
Well, this was you put the mic on, Hindu Man. You did it all wrong, man.
I put the mic on you?
Yeah. And
I did?
Wrong.
I'm dressing you as well? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm just saying that you didn't do it correctly, and now we got to talk about it on stream.
Well,
Guys,
we do have to talk about is this Kukulkan pick. Let's go back to that, because the Kukulkan pick is interesting. I'm expecting it's solo lane here, potentially against Kukulkan. The only reason I'm saying that is that's just out there from my own point of view of like, maybe it's a good matchup against Kukulkan. In the jungle, we've not seen too many Kubrakans just lately. He used to be a very dominant factor there. With the Thor pick, that does tell me that this is probably solo. But hold your horses, because what we've been seeing in the meta yesterday and starting today is these rotations towards mid lane from not just the supports, but also the hunters potentially going there. Kukulkan, his lane clear is a little bit stronger, so he could technically go into the dual lane on his own and do okay against the hunter. So we'll see what the last pick is.
That easily could be the pick, and we see Nemesis taking it for Poppies, so not just a strong jungler, but someone who can give those tankier characters a bit of trouble.
Solid against Thor. Solid against Thor, solid against Kukulkan. That makes a lot of sense. And it's got to be the Kukulkan solo lane there. Obviously, the Ganesh is giving the game away, because I don't think I'm ever going to see a Ganesh solo.
No, Maniac doesn't seem like the kind of one that wants to run Ganesh. Kukulkan seems way more his speed and adapting on that Thor that we all know he can pilot so well. Poppies and Energy, we got the picks here for you. Just getting ready to take y'all into game, but let's talk a little bit more here about what Ganesh can do for him in that solo lane, particularly with Raffer if he ends up starting alone in duo again.
Ganesh in the solo lane?
I said support. That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what you meant. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call you out all day now.
Hey, I'm going to just pretend it's what I said, Hindu Man. That's how I choose to move forward.
You had it easy last week. You got to go on air for the first time. You'd have to cast with me, and you'd have to deal with me when I call you out for the mistakes you make. So, Kukulkan is going to be solo, not the Ganesh.
Kukulkan is going to be solo in the solo lane where solos go.
That's right. And one thing about Ganesh is going to be pretty impactful here is the fact that there's a lot of ability-based characters on the side of the Pappies here. And those silences can come into play and be quite impactful. Now, Rafa's going to use his basics mainly here. Obviously, the ability that you can do at the start of the game, Light One, is pretty useful, but it's looking at buffing your teammates. So just hitting onto one isn't going to be the best thing in the world.
Raffer, though, is very aggressive on the war teams of taking a good bit of poke, and we are seeing what we've been seeing a little bit more. Emelito and Draco Marino are the ones dueling it out on that left-hand side. No surprise, though, that Emelito gets the pressure in that lane, so he's going to go invade on that purple buff.
And the key is the pressure there, John. That's what you're talking about, really. Watch, he's in trouble in the jungle on his own.
And that's thanks to Raffer getting all that poke on him. Sprint is committed here. Yaman able to get that kill. That's right where they wanted that to go. And even if Raffer had gotten it, thanks to that passive, Yaman would have got it anyway.
Now we're starting to see a meta that I think we were only going to see at the pro level. This won't filter down to your casual games, I expect, but this is becoming a pro sort of meta, at least in EU. It's mainly only EU we've seen this in so far. But it appears that they like to focus on, obviously, wave clear in the first couple of waves, very important. So why not have 2 and 2? Do a 1-2-2 start. Fafnir's wave clear, lackluster. Generally quite crappy, let's be honest. So why have him go to the mid lane at the start? Maybe just send your Hunter instead. Get a bit more dominance there, which means you can control the middle and right-hand side of the map a little bit more and potentially look to invade, just like Adapting's doing here.
Yeah, Creed and Dalo were able to get pressure in that duel, and the solo lane's able to come back over here and help protect their own speed buff. But we're at a point already here as Creed is in a little bit of trouble, getting trapped out, does turn around and get a lot of return damage, but Raffer is here too. Creed very, very low, adapting with the stun, and Yaman one more time over the top helps get that last bit of damage, so Adapting can take the credit.
And this was more speed of rotation coming out from NRG. They had 4 members grouped up around that right-hand side.
Yeah, they did.
A lot quicker than what the Pappies did. Obviously, we did see Warchi fell down in the early stages, and that meant it was already going to be a 3v4 on that side of the map to start off with, but it got worse because of the rotations being a little bit quicker and a little bit more useful from NRG.
And these starts seem to be a natural evolution of having high pressure AD carries or in the dual lane anyway. So once that becomes the start, it's sort of like, well, they can just do it on their own. So they leave them over there if you have someone like a Scotty, and then your support, like Raffer, can be elsewhere on the map, helping you get control of those camps.
But there is ups and downsides to this, and what you can see is Emilito has managed to abuse this in the early stages, if you think about it. He got laned against a Fafnir by going to the dual lane at the start, which means he gets lane pressure against the Fafnir and can then look to go and invade the buffs. So on the left-hand side of the map, NRG actually end up winning out because they had that pressure in that lane. So the focus on lane pressure on the level 1 can get you off to a good start. It won't be the be-all and end-all of the game.
Right.
But it can be if you can keep that pressure surmounted and keep the Pappies at bay.
And we do see that coming out in the form of about a level and a half lead for Emilito. As you said, getting all that solo farm over there is so important for helping to get Scotty out in front. Again, Warchi taking that early death, had to back settle for tier 2 of boots as well. So his timers are going to be off a little bit. Emilito, though, can go back when he wants to. Probably soon. He's low on mana, and we do see him backing down. So he'll be able to go and start buying his items. As Draco Marino just chilling here in mid lane.
So what this is going to do is delay the Pappies quite a lot in this game as well, with Warchi still being behind, currently 2 levels down in Emilito. They do need this Hoyi in the teamfight stages to make a big impact. So trying to make sure he can get online means he's got to be able to free farm for a while. So Pappies will not be paying attention to the dual lane, other than maybe to pressure out Emilito a little bit and give Warchi some more room to work in to catch up.
And this is what we see our high-end teams do with their lead. NRG come and put a ward down on the speed buff of the Poppy. So now they're establishing vision control. So sure, it's maybe only, actually it's about almost 1,000 gold leads. That is significant at 4 minutes, but this is how you see that gold lead be put into the map in vision control so that they know when those camps are up and they can start contesting them and pushing that lead further.
I'm talking about those camps left on Harpies, but Warchi's in a predicament here. He's going to have to run towards mid lane. Caldera involved, good damage coming out. Suns falls by Warchi defensively just to buy him a moment to get back, but the bad news is he got chipped away at health, and now he may have to return to base as his red's being looked at. Maniac's in a bit of trouble though.
Dalo's ultimate came out on the Maniac and immediately got knocked up by Creed. That's what set up a big kill. Maniac taken back to base, but Emilito also taking down Warchi.
And that was Warchi wanting to really base play safe, but the problem was his red was being invaded. Emilito looked at Warchi and went, "Why are you still here?" and then made sure he paid for trying to stick around. The rest of Pappies weren't really on the same page. That's why Warchi falls down there. They not only lose the red now, they're also going to lose the purple.
Poppy's recognizing the aggression on the duo side as Raffer now the one in trouble. Slow coming out, and he uses the sprint to try and get further away. Creed, though, not ready to give up on this. He jumps in, but Adapting, Emilito, and Yaman are all here. He's forced to back off, and Raffer will escape with his life.
And look at what Creed's having to do there. Rotate all the way over from the solo lane where he'd love to be farming and continuing to power himself up, all the way to the duo side of the map, realistically, at the Gold Fury, to try and help out his team and steady the bleed that's been happened to them by NRG.
And Poppies were recognizing that the dual lane side of the map, for at least that last minute or so, was where NRG's aggression was. That's a big part of why we saw them end up getting that kill onto Maniac on the solo lane side as Oracles go the way of NRG. And then they were able to sort of alleviate some of that pressure that happened and start getting back some control of at least their buffs on that side. But it's NRG with that strong vision control on the duo side.
I look at the poor level difference between Warchi now and Emilito. Emilito has no mana here, yet Warchi still can't step up to the wave.
No, he can't fight
because he's still going to be in trouble from just the minions on its own to be able to even contest this. I wouldn't even mind seeing Warchi go for an Igval this game. And I know everyone will be like, what? What's Hindu talking about going for Igval? Igval's really useful for when you're behind. To be able to try and get a bit of a power spike, answer back some of the damage you're going to get, and potentially give yourself a moment to try and catch up and still be relevant in the game.
Creed taking some damage. That wall was just a little bit on the wrong side, separating Maniac from getting into Creed and following up any further. He was still able to get the poke off, but they didn't really have any kill potential.
But the poke's the important part of this. It's not necessarily after the kill. We mention all the times now solo laners are not picking up teleport anymore, and that makes a big impact. By forcing them back to base, it means they're going to go back earlier than they want to finish off items, or they're just going to lose experience to the tower, or worst case, they have to look at getting an item like Swiftwing to make sure that if they do get poked out, they can still stay in the fight.
Draco Marino trying to prevent them from getting those elementals. He is able to come in with his Hand of the Gods and get the bigger minion there to stop him from getting all that farm. But you can even see down here on the levels just sort of the, while Warchi already pushed back under his tier 2 tower, commits the ultimate, and Emilito backs on off, but Adapting's the one up in the air. They're going to try and contest over the speed buff. He crashes in on the back where the Dharmic Pillars already came out, and Yaman takes down Creed.
Dalo in trouble, going to double dash away as Adapting over the wall, trying to escape Draco Marino, who's trying to hunt him down. Emilito on the left will get that solo kill on Warchi as Draco Marino still under pressure now. He committed to try and pick up Adapting, and in the end, got himself baited into a bad spot.
He was in a lot of trouble after jumping over that wall. Adapting able to run back to his teammates, get away, and poor Warchi just having a rough time of it. 0-3-0, getting soloed out by Emilito on that dual lane side after that start gave Emilito such a strong advantage.
And now he's in a bit of an awkward spot, because what do you do to deal with Emilito? Because Emilito's getting free farm on this left-hand side. But then if you commit to the left-hand side to help out Warchi, then, well, your other parts of the map are going to lose too. Sometimes it's better to potentially give up the lane and just hope for the best. Just say, Warchi, listen, you're going to lose a lot. We know you're behind. He knows it too. And the call from Pappy seems to be, let him just get what he can, try not to die too much, and just try and survive out for now. That's all they can really hope for from this dual lane now.
At this point, it is looking rough for Warchi over here in the dual lane. That red buff, though, is on the ground for him at least, so that has been dropped. Looks like Draco Marino went over to try and maybe pick it up.
No, that was NRG, I think, that picked that one up.
NRG dropped that one.
Yep,
and that's what's been a big problem here, too. Emilito has had his red buff the whole time, so not only is he way far ahead, but they've also got that red buff control.
Extra power.
Just one less thing that Warchi can try and fight into, as if Emilito needed a further advantage as Draco Marino rotates over to try and slow down some of this farm here for Emilito.
Well, right-hand side, bit of a gang going on now as Adapting's looking towards Dalo. Bit of pressure onto Dalo, but double dashes away from Maniac, who can't find the stun. He may look for the ultimate, though, and he will find it.
Immediately catching out Dalo here. Dharmic Pillows also committed. Not even sure if that was necessary, as Adapting gets the credit for that kill. And on the left-hand side, here's what we're talking about. Draco Marino trying to relieve some pressure, but Emilito turns and fights into it. Ultimate comes out from Warchi to back Emilito off, but Emilito still not scared.
But look at the map, and look who's coming over. Yaman has now made the rotation, and Warchi and Draco Marino have to run for their lives. The pressure is still on, and Warchi only being level 9 with Emilito nice and healthy. Look at Adapting too. He's in the sky now, looking at potentially one of the rotations in. Sol's in trouble.
He does land on Sol there in the jungle. Very much trouble here for Mr. Nazer, but he actually turns damage back onto Adapting. Thank goodness Raffer was there, though, to help clean up the kill and give that credit back to his jungler.
And all this is down to the fact that Warchi's been in trouble this entire time. Yeah. And it's not just down to Warchi's individual play. It's the whole team being behind certain aspects of this. But the problem is that when one member gets behind, you try and support them, and then you see the rotations coming in from Yamin ahead of time. Then you get a rotation out of the Puppies going, oh no, Yamin left, we need to go and help. But then Adapting's waiting in the jungle like, yeah, come rotate, I'm waiting for you, because the moment you do, we're going to gank you instead.
It's actually just a straight up numbers advantage. When Emilito's able to take a 1v2, the rotations are always going to be in favor of NRG because there's just 4 more people who can come into the fight as opposed to 3. That's what we saw here, as now Yaman adapting and Raffer coming in to try and contest the speed buff of Dalo already very low, and he has to retreat. Creed came in just to try and help, and now he could potentially be in trouble. Dharmic Pillars came out, and the walls from Maniac are off the mark.
Beautiful dash there from Creed at the end. Otherwise, he would have got caught by Maniac in the ultimate. If that dash wasn't, it was any later, he was in a lot of trouble. But Emilito has enjoyed himself so much now in this lane that he's now able to pressure behind and proxy farm a little bit more. Keep Warchi pinned under this tower at the same time as keep forcing people to potentially rotate to help him out.
Adapting over here as well. Poppy's, or rather Warchi, does have 1 ward on this bottom side, so I would have let him know, but Yaman the one who's in trouble before he can even get the rewind out, blown up by Mr. Nazer. Adapting, also having to back up here as Draco Marino goes into that dragon form. Raffer has the sprint on him as Emilito takes out Dalo, and Adapting wants to go up into the air. Well, he's looking to come back down on top of Mr. Nazer, and he does. He gets the kill, and Raffer here with the Ohm to silence out any more abilities from Draco Marino, who's on the wrong side of the map.
This is outplays for days now, and NRG are running away with 11 minutes in, 11 kills for themselves. Warchi now trying to rotate to support, but look at how much he just ate from just the damage from Maniac off 1 ability. Rough situation for Pappies now. They're trying to just answer back to NRG and pick up some kills, but in the end, it's NRG that are always there, ready to support. Look at how low Adapting was too.
Yeah.
Still willing to re-engage, looking to turn this around and find kills.
And that's him just trusting Raffer to be there with Ganesh to support him in that engagement. I know you're talking about how NRG's ahead, and they are 11 kills to 2 with about a 5,000 or so gold lead, but we haven't really seen them translate that into objective play, like with Gold Furiers or anything like that. Do you think that's just because of how early it is, or have they not won any fights handily enough for that?
We don't have the stats for how many buffs they've stolen away, but if you add up all those buffs together over and over again, purple and red and speed, oh my, maybe even the blue now and again, add those together on its own, and then you'll realize that they do add up to a Gold Fury in the early stages, because Gold Fury is not as valuable as it used to be at the start of the game. But as we start to hit, towards this 15-minute mark now, that Gold Fury gets so much worthwhile, and it's going to force Pappies to try and make plays like this at the Portal Demon to keep themselves relevant.
Raffer immediately drops those Dharmic Pillars to deter any more aggression. Adapting was there for him to back him up if need be. And Poppies are forced to give up on that Portal Demon, but I like that call. They got to do something to try and get back into this game. And they do try the Portal Demon. If no one from NRG responds, then they take it and try and recoup some of those losses.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sneaky attempt, and I did like the idea of it. I will say, though, from Pappies' point of view this year, I think Mr. Nazer was probably one of the best pickups of this split for me. He has come onto this roster, and I don't know what he's done. It's probably not just him, but it just seems to all click with the Pappies now that they brought Mr. Nazer to mid lane. It seems a little bit more of a solid foundation for them to work from. And even if they're having bad games, Mr. Nazer is still making an impact. You saw the kill on Yaman, which was out of the blue. Out of the blue.
Mid lane's one of those roles where that's where a lot of the action is often happening, so he can have a big impact as Raffer takes a lot of poke. Creed. Blinking in as Creed gets a 4-man knockup. Mr. Nazer follows up onto Raffer with his ultimate, but now Dalo's the one in trouble from Maniac. Raffer having to run away from the aggression from Creed, and Creed does get that kill.
Beautiful little play from Creed combining there with the rest of his team. I was a little bit concerned, but wait a second. Adapting goes back up, looking for a re-engage. Dalo's a little bit far forward here, and the collapse and the pinch point is inch perfect. Maniac gets one, and Creed's now alone.
And that wall separates Creed from Mr. Nazer and Draco Marino so they can continue to put in damage. We saw Yaman use his rewind at the back of the fight, so he did end up backing up a little bit and couldn't immediately start to follow out, but he was fully healthy. Draco Marino gets the stun, and Nazer now.
Nazer's low on mana, though, and he's got to be careful about his position in here, because Yaman was quite happy to continue banging away with mana and that Aegis in tow, but that's been burned by Yaman, and so NRG are like, you know what, we can't get any more out of this. But the good news is Emilito was able to chip away at a tower and now get himself to level 16.
Emilito, the most farmed here in the game right now at level 16. It's just real rough for Warchi, and not just Warchi. Everyone really is behind this tyrant that is Scotty at this point in the game. But yeah, he actually was able to get that buff. Warchi. Yeah, Warchi got it. It's the small victories Hindu that are going to be the most important. But Warchi trying to get back what he can, but level 12 compared to that level 16 Emilito is rough.
But the best thing is he's gone, well, in one way he's got Devour's Gauntlets, and all he wants to do now is stack these Devour's Gauntlets up. Allow him to take a lot of poke from Emilito, and as long as he doesn't die and get himself in an awkward situation, he can re-sustain, back up off the next minion wave, back up off a jungle camp. He also has the Bumbers in there too. So as long as Warchi just focuses on staying alive and farming where it's safe to do so, he will eventually become relevant. but it's if NRG allow the game to go that long.
He could have relevance if NRG continue to push the issue on the right-hand side as Maniac goes in on Creed. Those Devil Gloves do give you an ability to solo that Gold Fury or try and threaten some objectives on the left-hand side. Adapting, though, goes up into the air. He's looking to come crashing back down. Doesn't land directly on top of Creed, but is in position now to follow up with a little more damage.
Ooh, Dalo's going to be the one in trouble, really. The Bluestone ticks are not going to be enough to bring him down. But it was a nice little play from Adapting. He missed everything on to the bigger, easier target that is the Warrior, but he's still got Dalo, who was looking to stay and support his teammate. Mid lane pressure.
Mr. Nazer commits the ultimate, and that forces Yaman to go into his rewind. Raffer also uses Dharmic Pillars, but Nazer is so safe in that Disapparate form, just going to chill away as Imelito's rotating in, looking for blood.
And that was a great call from Pappies there. Notice how the communication came out from Warchi clearly, like, get out, get out. The raid boss is on his way. But now Raffer's in trouble again. He's going to have to disengage, and with the ultimate out from Draco Marino, NRG will be happy. They are forced to disengage, but they get out quick enough before Draco Marino can look to re-engage using his ultimate.
Draco Marino was looking for a little more there, but so quick was the call to back up, and that's what you expect from NRG. When those calls come out in those comms, this is a veteran team, like we said, the world champs who back up. Draco Marino, though, using that Dragon form to full advantage over here on this Portal Demon. Adapting and Yaman are here to try and slow it down. Yaman coming in, the only one that can really contest it. But Portal Demon goes down Poppies. Creed gets stunned out, and Adapting is up in the air.
Creed's the one that's going to die here for sure, but they may look for extras because of that. Creed's already dead, so Adapting's looking around for who else he can go for. In the end, he can't reach just in time there to grab hold of Draco Marino, but Poppies did everything right, apart from Creed hanging around too long. That's the only mistake they made there. I loved the play, gave him a small little win, and you need those to try and keep yourself in the game.
I have to agree, they'd already confirmed a Portal Demon when Creed steps forward and uses his Rage ultimate. That was him maybe re-engaging when it wasn't necessary. Sure. But I do like the patience we saw from Adapting. He goes up into the air, able to recognize that Creed is dead to rights already from the rest of his team, and he doesn't have any more time to land anywhere else, but he at least was patient looking to see what else they could get.
And at the same time, even though Creed dies there and we're saying, you know what, he probably shouldn't have stayed around there, it's kind of his job. Yeah. He's a frontliner, right? So who should be the first one in the fight? Frontliner. Who should be the last one to leave the fight? Frontliner. If you stay alive at the end of the fight, you're probably doing something wrong because your backline's dead, right? So him dying and being the only casualty there in trade of a Portal Demon, I'm not too upset with, and I'm not going to rib on Creed too hard for it. But you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where he could have got out for free, but he wanted to try and protect his team more.
Right now, the kills are 13-3, but the gold lead still hasn't really gone up too much more from where it was about 5 to 6 minutes ago. The Poppies are doing a good job slowing down the bleeding. They get the Oracles over here by the Gold Fury as well, so they have some uncontestable vision on this left-hand side.
And look at the experience difference between these two teams now. It's starting to close just a little bit, at least in 4 of the 5 roles. One role, obviously, Emelito is just way out there, but eventually that gap will close if they can keep it going, because Emelito can only hit 20, and then it's just down to itemization and gold, which is still a big issue.
Adapting is lurking over here in the jungle, though. This tier 1 tower is so low, it's almost not really a threat for them. They're sticking around into this tower, which is really not even going to be a tower form. Warty has his beads forced out already, but Dalo and Mr. Nazer are rotating in on the backline. Draco Marino is up in his ultimate, and Warty goes in on Yaman, who still has the rewind available.
But Nazer's late to the fight, and now because of the position he came in at, the rest of the team have already left him. Goodbye, Mr. Nazer. You will be missed. There's nothing he could do there. His rotation decision round the corner, rest of the team knew they were out. The biggest problem Pappy's had there, that tower had 1 hit from death.
Yes.
How can you fire a tower 1 hit from death? All it takes is 1 auto. And
it's a lot like not having a tower.
Then you are technically out of position. Yeah. When the tower's up, you're in position. When the tower's down, you're out of position. Bad call from Poppies. They should have given it up. It wasn't worthwhile trying to hold on to that 500 gold, because not only does it cost them a tier 1 in left, it costs them a tier 1 in mid, and they also lose Mr. Nazer.
And with that advantage in mid lane, NRG do take that advantage. They even head over towards the Gold Fury, so it's not just the kill they get on Mr. Nazer, but Draco Marino and Warchi were forced back to base as well, so they have the complete man advantage on the right-hand side. But look at Poppies. They're grouping up at the Fire Giant, recognizing that there was a big commitment on the left side, so they've got the Fire Giant started, but Maniac is here.
They should go on a Maniac here. They should play all in Maniac now, quickly, before the rest of NRG can even get here. The bad news is that NRG have arrived very quickly, and Pappy's a bit of an indecision on what they wanted to do.
Yes.
They realized they couldn't do fire, but what they should have realized is that Maniac was alone. And if they could have seen that, obviously it's so much easier with the overall view of the map to be able to know where NRG were. But if they commit on Maniac there, they find a potential free pick, or at least get a couple of relics out of him.
And I think you're right if they're not so far behind. It just fell off here, but NRG had Sentry Vision along this whole time. It's actually still there. Sentry Ward Vision there, so there was no way for Poppies to be 100% sure. And like I said, they were a little scared to pull the trigger. They do take this Tier 1 tower in the solo lane side to try and get something back and not just let NRG run rampant with their 6K gold lead.
Remember, again, Poppies are against former world champs, two-time world champions here, and they are holding themselves in this game, not to the standard that you'd expect of it being even, but they are still in this, and they're still making small plays that are great decisions overall. Still some small missteps, but then again, NRG been making one or two of those too, which we've not really spoken about just yet as they group up on the right-hand side.
NRG are ready to take down this Tier 1 tower. No defense possible for the Poppies on that Tier 1 structure, which is not as important 21 or so minutes into the game. The speed buff, though, that's being aggressed on by NRG is important, and adapting happy to take it.
And now with this, NRG's just in a bit of a lull. They're just going to look for picks. They can't really commit for Fire Giant, but they can commit for Draco Marino. Nice ultimate out of him, and the engage from Dalo going deep with the follow for the whole team.
The call was definitely to go in. They catch out Maniac, and Warchi ends up getting credit for that kill, and they immediately turn back around towards this Portal Demon, which hasn't spawned just yet, but adapting was up in the air. He lands on Mr. Nazer, gets some good damage off, wasn't able to quite get
Rafa's on low, and nobody else is with Rafa. He's going to need some help, and he'll get some. And Melito goes straight towards Mr. Nazer as Draco Marina leaps out to safety. Nazer's going to fall, and that was just adapting, making the play from mid lane, catching two on the rotation to mid, and it's going to cost the lives of 3 Poppies members this.
Yeah, Creed has to fall back too, and it looks like Poppies weren't sure what to do with the kill that they got onto Maniac. They kind of just clump around here on this side, and adapting is ready to come in and take advantage of it. Portal Demon now going the way of NRG. Warchi just going to have to back off here as Emilito is on the chase.
It was basically that whole little play there was all from adapting. It may not look that way, but it was. He ulted in the mid lane, he held it for a second, noticed the rotation back towards mid from 2 of the carries, the jungler and the mid laner, hits them both, gets the beads, double tap, rest of the team follow up, pick up the pieces.
And now NRG will also pick up the Fire Giant. Poppies know there's no way to contest it if they even know what's going on. They likely do.
Sure.
And this Fire Giant is going to go on to all 5 members of NRG. All 3 Tier 2 towers are available for NRG to start pushing down and extend out their gold lead, with each one of them being worth another 1,500 global gold.
So now it's going to be right-hand side, first of all, just get the tier 2. They could even look for the Phoenix if they want to try and siege at it. But against the defense that Poppies have here, Wave Clear is not the greatest thing in their repertoire. Other than Mr. Nazer and Warchi, the rest of them can't really clear too effectively at a Phoenix, so it could be a bit of a difficult siege for them to try and defend against, especially with the amount of poke that you can see NRG have and the frontline tankiness available with a Kabrakan as well as the Ganesh.
I think the Poppies agreed with you, electing to just try and get some farm onto Mr. Nazer and Warchi by pushing up the mid and duo lanes rather than contesting that Tier 2 on the right-hand side, which very well could have gone poorly for them. Now they're going to back up, instead look to group around this mid Phoenix. We're okay giving up these Tier 2s, but if you come to the Phoenix, that's where we're going to make our defense.
And this is the classic thing of just use the Fire Giant to get as much of a gold lead as you can. You had a gold lead before, let's extend that. Let's try and put the game to bed without even having to commit to a fight. And that just makes it so much easier if you're like, you know what, we threw that fight, but we were 10k in the lead. Yeah? You throw a fight, you're still 10k in the lead, and you're like, well, okay, I guess we're only 9k in the lead. Oh well, I guess they're going to have to do this another 9 times to be even.
NRG do come over and take the Tier 2 tower in the dual lane side as well. Again, feeling very comfortable with the lead they've got, which is even higher than what we thought there, Andy, man, sitting at 12,000 gold. So as you said, if they do come in, and even if they lose, I mean, they've got tier 1s and Tier 2s still up on the tower. Yep. They have a lot to fall back on and a lot of leeway to play with here when they move into these Phoenixes, which will be their next goal.
And that gold we're talking about now, if you just look at the items at the bottom, without even going into item specifics of what been chosen, look at how many are on the 6th items or finishing off their final item, potentially to start selling starters. That's what NRG are looking at. What are Poppies doing? Well, they're trying to get to the 5th item, most of them, if they can. That's where the big gold differential is going to be.
And we're at a point where I agree it's still very much relevant, this gold lead that we're talking about. A lot of NRG still have items to go, especially Yaman, who has 4 items, so still has 2 more to get that can make a big difference in these team fights. So that gold lead is, like, you know, you talked earlier about how Emilito was going to hit a point where the experience lead didn't matter.
Yes.
We're not there with that gold lead yet. It is still going to continue to be a problem for Poppies.
Correct. But you can see, to go back to the experience again, it's still going to be a big issue so far. Classic Smite has always been, you're looking for a level per minute. An average of a standard player, but with how the meta's developing in the pro scene right now, it's started to slow down a little bit more. It's not available for everybody to hit level 20 at 20 minutes in, but when people do that, they still can make a big impact. Emilito, prime example here.
Everyone for NRG has been all over the map. Rafa in particular, setting up his carries to look good. Emilito sitting on that 7-0-2, as well as adapting, sitting at 6-0-7. Warchi trying to get some poke as NRG look to group up on this duo lane side Phoenix, the most valuable one because it's furthest from the Fire Giant.
Draco Marino has taken so much damage already. Creed commits with a fantastic ultimate onto all 5 members, but it's only going to slow down the engage for a moment. Creed now pinned in place, taking a lot of poke, but Nazer helps him out and forces back energy once more, but only for a moment.
NRG, though, are ready to regroup and push back in. 2 members had to back up, and adapting is up into the air, looking to crash down. Maniac going forward. He's going to be that frontline presence, and adapting lands on the back line. Immediately takes out Warchi, no problem. Creed in a lot of trouble, as well as the Phoenix does fall.
Phoenix falls, and the Puppies have to fall back. No minions in mid lane for NRG to use here, so they're going to have to backdoor this one if they want to. But we've already picked up Warchi, one of the damage dealers down on the side of Pappies, and a lot of the ultimates, all the ultimates down from Pappies. This isn't going to be that difficult for NRG to look to take, and they will do so.
Dalo was already forced to go back to base and heal up a little bit. He's back in the team fight, but just that bit of separation was enough to give NRG both of these Phoenixes now, and the Fire Giant has fallen off, only a minute from it respawning. That's why we see NRG backing up, taking what they can off the map to make it even harder for Poppy to try and farm back into this one and then establish control over the Fire Giant one more time.
Solid game from NRG this one, though. There's nothing that's really stood out to me of like, you know what, they made some big mistakes in this. They haven't really. They've just been business as usual. Sort of the sort of games you're expecting from them. You know, with being world champs and all, but it's nice to see them being able to stay at this level. It's not clean. They'll look at this game themselves and be like, you know what, we did make a couple of mistakes, like Yamin's rotation here or there wasn't the greatest in the world. Maniac getting picked off here, Rafa being picked off there. But in the grand scheme, they'll be happy with the performance and looking to move forward from this one.
Perhaps a little looseness from their early game lead could be a part of it.
Well, it's
for
also,
sure.
When you play against teams that are seen as below you, that also causes a problem for you. Like if you, this is a 7th seeded team, Pappies technically coming into the split, right?
Yeah.
When you play against 7th and you're known as one of the best teams in the world,
2-time world champ.
What happens? You get complacent. People do get complacent. It's the same in any sort of game. You get complacent, you make mistakes that you wouldn't normally make against the likes of Obey, the likes of Rival, who you've lost games to before.
NRG, though, stopped DPS on the Fire Giant to catch out Draco Marino, who's the only one over here to try and contest the objective, because Warchi and Mr. Nazer are just trying to push up those outside lanes.
I'm okay with that.
Adapting, though, up in the air, trying to stop him in mid lane from fighting. He does land on top of both Creed and Dalo. Mid tower actually still up and still pushing in some damage. Creed eventually able to help knock it down, but Adapting and Rafa have used the sprint, and they're chasing him out.
Pappies is doing a good job, though. I know it sounds really weird and looks odd, but I like the decisions they're making. They know they can't contest the fire, they're too far behind, so why not try and get some global gold for themselves from some of these tier 1 towers? And if they win one fight at a Phoenix, then there's a chance for them to go and take a Phoenix of their own, or, you know, find a way back into it.
But if that's the call, why was Draco Marino alone over there? He gets, I mean, NRG recognized it and
Draco's
immediately
over there
turned on.
alone because he is the support with Hog. And you look to send one member, a support is the one that's always like, I will sacrifice myself for the good of the team. And if I can steal a Fire Giant worth, if he dies, well, we're still going to get 2 tier 1 towers, and I wasn't going to be able to help with those anyway.
Creed, though, still sitting out that respawn timer of 15 seconds as the Phoenix on the right-hand side falls. All 3 Phoenixes down for the Poppies. NRG looking to break the base and bring in that fire wave in the middle to help them out with it. Only 4 from the Poppies are here, but Creed will at least be around for the Phoenix defense. Warchi almost wasn't, though. Gets taken down very low.
That was a double tap and a nice little bit of damage out of Yamin, and that's all she wrote for him. Adapting in the sky again. Big ultimate again from Creed. I've loved saying that, but he's not been able to do anything else on top of it. He'll fall down to Emilito. Backside adapting's causing so many problems that the 3 members of Pappies are running away. And a poor old Warchi, still only level 17. He's forced back too. The Titan is going to fall.
NRG take game 1, 21-4, 29 minutes on the clock.